Hello, Beverly Slanters. And this is our 5-question Friday with this week's very special guest. Of course, I'm wearing my mask to begin with. As a reminder, please wear your masks, be socially distanced, wash your hands, stay out of large crowds. Please don't go to parties with your friends. We're begging you to do that so that we can continue to move forward and stay in school. But I am by myself in my classroom, so I'm not going to wear my mask the entire time because that would be crazy. So this week's guest is somebody I'm really excited about. As some of you may know, I used to be the girls basketball coach here. And this young lady was a member of my basketball team. And I will tell you, I believe that she is the greatest teammate that I ever coached. And so she is joining us. Her name is Lyndsey West. Lyndsey West, say hello to the current Lancers.
Hey, guys.
She is, as you can tell, in the full Marine gear. What do I call that? You're in the
camis, camouflage.
There we go, the camis, right? And she is a member of the U.S. Marines, which we'll get to that story in just a second. But she played basketball for me. She graduated in 2005, which I cheated. I asked her ahead of time what it was. I couldn't remember if it was 2004 or 2005. She was a part of an extremely successful basketball team. And I would say she was a big reason for that because of her attitude and what she brought as a teammate for everybody else to follow along with. So some of you guys may have Mrs. Kimmages for math, Mrs. West, Lyndsey, and Mrs. Kimmages are the best of friends, and we're great teammates together in high school. So, Lyndsey, how did we end up as a captain, which is a very fitting term for you because you were always a leader? How did you end up as a captain in the U.S. Marines?
It's a really interesting story. So I was in college actually playing basketball, and I didn't feel like I was in my element. I had this really strong desire to do something important. And one of my friends was meeting with a Marine Corps recruiter, and I didn't have anything to do. So I thought, you know what, I'll just go with him. And 2 hours later, I had signed my name on the dotted line. So I went to school. I dropped out of all my classes, and I drove home like 2 or 3 days later. And I remember it was spring break, and I went in my dad's office. He was like, "Hey, what are you doing home so early? How's midterms going?" And I was like, "Well, Dad, I'm not taking midterms." And he was a little thrown aback. And I was like, I'd like to talk about it at dinner. And he's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I joined the Marine Corps." Now, before that, I didn't even know what the Marine Corps was. And I think if you know me, it's probably pretty fitting. But I thought everything was the Army. I was very ignorant to everything military related. And the recruiter explained to me that the Marine Corps had the hardest boot camp. So that was the one I wanted to do. And that if I did 4 years of service, the military and the government would help me pay for college. And it just seemed like a no-brainer to me. So 2 weeks later, my dad dropped me off at the recruiter's office to go to boot camp, slapped me on the back, told me I'd do fine, walked out, and then I left for basic training. And after a few days, I received my first piece of mail, and it was from my dad. And I still have this letter. It says, "I had to cut the grass today. Man, did I miss you. I love you, and I'm proud." And it just said "Dad" at the end of it. And that was kind of like his way of accepting my choice.
That's pretty awesome. Like, I have chills listening to you. So let's talk about, you don't know, obviously if you're watching this, you don't know Lyndsey's dad. Lyndsey's dad is a great guy. I mean, he's awesome. But to say that he was tough is an understatement. Tough love for sure. Loved his daughters, loved Lyndsey and her sister. I mean, like, great dad, unbelievable. And I'm sure when he got that news from you, he was like, "Oh my gosh, this happened." So that's pretty cool, right? To give the kids a little background. So let's backtrack to high school a little bit. Yeah. So when you came into high school, right? Because this, I think, certainly has an effect on what you're doing now. And remember, Lancers, we do this every week so that you can see, like, someday, you know, Lyndsey's, I won't say her age, right? Because I'm not supposed to say a female's age. But Lyndsey is not in high school, obviously. You guys someday will not be in high school. So you have to make a choice. Like, what are you going to do, right? And for her, an excellent choice, and maybe an excellent choice for some of you, is to join the military. It's certainly something to consider. And so Lyndsey, it's worked out really good. But when she was in high school, she played on the basketball team. And Lyndsey was fortunate. I guess you could say maybe she was unfortunate, but she was fortunate when she was here that the talent that we had on the basketball team was like crazy. I mean, we had some really, really good players. Mrs. Kimmagees obviously was incredible. There were 2 other girls 2 years younger than Lyndsey that were phenomenal players. There was another one 3 years younger than her that was also a phenomenal player. These are all like big time Division I players. They were
And
good.
I know every player you're talking about. Lauren Woods, Brittany Adams, Morgan Harrington.
Yes, and they were awesome.
Yep.
Right? So what that meant for Lyndsey is that things didn't go the way she thought they were going to go all the time. So as a freshman, she comes in, works so hard. I mean, she worked so hard at every practice all the time. And in a game, she was so tough and would dive on the floor and knock over somebody and set a screen that freed up a teammate, right? She didn't care who scored as long as somebody scored. And so she just wanted to win. And so she was an amazing teammate. That's why I said in the beginning of this that she was such a great teammate. Do you think, Lyndsey, that your attitude in high school and being such a teammate like that, has that helped you in your career that you're at now?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. So one of the things we are institutionalized by in the Marine Corps is servant leadership, right? So like the Marines that work under me, that are under my charge, I work for them. Marine officers, we eat last. And sometimes when we go to eat, it means there's no food left, but our Marines, our junior Marines are taken care of. And that's one of the things about the Marine Corps that's appealing to me. Some of the other branches of service practice class leadership, which is the higher rank you are, the more elevated your status is. But our junior Marines are the ones who are the ones on the ground doing the dirty jobs, doing the hard work. And so we take care of them to the best of our ability. It's a small way to let them know we appreciate them and we appreciate everything they do for the military and for our country. But as a teammate, I mean, my best memories, I was thinking about like what some of my favorite memories from high school were. And I never had like, I don't look back on it like this grand, I hit the shot of this game or I won this track meet. It was more like riding on the bus with Amanda or with Miss Kemagees with the boombox with the double D batteries. Or it was Amanda at one of my track meets holding a sign for me and I saw it every single lap I was running, or skipping cross country practice and going to get ice cream cones. Don't do that though. That's bad. I only did it one time. But those are the things that I look back on fondly. And I would say that my Marine Corps career is really similar. The promotions and the awards are really cool, but my most fond memories are, I would say my favorite memories are being in Afghanistan and not having anyone else around and not having any other friends except for the Marines I work with. And I still talk to those. I went to Afghanistan in 2012 and I still talk to those Marines today and I still talk to their parents too. And it's those little moments that mean everything.
So you learned how to be a teammate in high school, although I think you were born a good teammate and a good team player. And certainly the way your parents raised you had something to do with that. But you didn't point fingers. You didn't say this isn't fair. You didn't quit. And when you get in the Marines, you can't do that either, right? You can't say, hey, this isn't my fault.
And I would be a liar if I said I didn't think about quitting sometimes. Like, it crosses your mind. You're doing your millionth sprint or you're running cross country and you're on mile 6 or 7 and you're just exhausted. And quitting sounds so appealing because it's so easy. But not quitting, that's what builds character. That's what makes you a stronger person. That's what builds resiliency. And I think at the end of the day, that's what being challenged like that and succeeding is what brings people joy or happiness.
Yeah. So this is about success too, right? And you've been really successful and you're currently a captain in the Marines. How many promotions did it take for you to get to be a captain in the Marines?
So it actually took 8. I was doing the math a couple days ago and I've been promoted 8 times.
Wow. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your college experience? Like when you went to the Citadel when you were there, what was that like?
Okay. So when I went to the Citadel, I was an active duty Marine. So it's like the best kept secret of the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps paid for my college and paid me to go to college. So I was getting my normal basic pay and I was basically on a military scholarship. So when I first checked in, there are not a lot of women on the campus in general. I think the campus is about 13 or 14% women. when I checked in, I was the only female Marine, and all of the cadets that were going to school there thought I was checking in as the commanding officer's secretary, which that was an interesting conversation to have. And that was really being at the Citadel really opened my eyes to how much of really a boys club the Marine Corps or the Citadel could be. But I always had to make, for myself, I made the active choice to be my authentic self, be who I was made to be. Because if I had been trying to be someone else, I would be doing myself and the people I was leading a disservice, because I would be putting all my energy towards trying to be something that I wasn't. I would say that if you look at me, even in my uniform, or if you see me outside of my uniform, I don't look like a stereotypical conventional Marine. I think when we think Marine, we think of the guy who's 6'4", holding the flag, and he's got huge shoulders and he's just built, and people are always very surprised to hear that I'm a Marine, but I've owned it in my own right, and I have found ways to make it my own. And I think being that teammate, like we were talking about before, I think that's where I found success in the Marine Corps, because it's getting accolades has never been important to me. And I think the Marines that I'm in charge of, I think they're drawn to that because it's about them. It's not about me.
That's awesome. So clearly there were some obstacles, you had to overcome, when you're at the Citadel or wherever you were at. I'm sure that your positive attitude and your ability to work hard like you did in practice every day when we were in high school has paid off for you. So that's a big lesson. That's amazing. And I had chills listening to you talk. It's awesome. It's fantastic. So, okay, let's get to the questions, right? The five question Friday questions. The first one is, what's your favorite memory of being a Beverly's Lancer?
My favorite memory, I would have to say, was Miss Kemagees and I, we shared a locker my senior year, and because she was tall and I'm not, she had the top part of the locker and I had the bottom part of the locker. Oh no, I thought of an even better story, and it involves Miss Kemagees. So I did, Amanda was one of my favorite parts, but this includes her. So we were like study hall monitors. I don't know what it was called. And one day Amanda's desk broke while she was sitting in it. And everybody in the study hall turned around, and Amanda stood up and she goes, "I am okay." And she was it was so funny. Oh, she's going to kill me for sharing that story, but I will remember that story fondly for the rest of my life.
That's fantastic. I don't think I've ever heard that story. That's great stuff.
Oh, she was so embarrassed.
I'll always remember the game at Granite City where we were pummeling them, and their coach would always get so mad at me. He's a good guy, and I got along with him really well. But we were playing fantastic, and we were up. And there was like a 1 second left on the clock, and we ran a side inbounds play, and you caught the ball and heaved it from half court, and it went in. So we went from up by 27 at halftime to up by 30 at halftime, and their coach literally yelled at me all the way off the court. I remember that for sure.
I don't remember that at all.
Well, from what you said earlier, it doesn't surprise me. Okay, so what's been the biggest component to your success to become a captain in the Marines?
I think sometimes just putting my head down, working hard, standing up for what is right, even if it's not popular, and being my authentic self. And sometimes you just got to shut up and do the work. And as a woman in the Marine Corps, I feel like anytime I go anywhere brand new, I always start off here, and I have to prove to everybody that I deserve to be up here. And I think that grit, like even, playing high school basketball and not being the best player on the team, not being one of the 5 best players on the team, I was used to that. I was used to that hard work. I was used to that grit. So I would say hard work, perseverance, and just being true to yourself.
Awesome. Okay, third question. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, or Facebook?
Instagram. TikTok is weird. Facebook is just way too negative lately. What's the other one? TikTok. And I like Instagram because it's just pretty pictures.
Snapchat is the other one.
Yeah, Snapchat's weird too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Instagram. All right.
Yeah.
Who is your celebrity crush?
Captain America. I don't know his name, but whoever plays Captain America, I think he's cute.
Nice. Okay,
But
good.
I don't know what I don't, I don't know what other movies he's in, but not like the actor, just Captain America himself.
I say this every week. I'm always glad when somebody doesn't know right away. I think if you know right away, that might be bordering on some kind of issue. So
Didn't Monet know?
They knew right away. Yes. Okay. Outside of your family, who would you say is the most biggest mentor, role model person for you in your life?
Well, it's kind of like what I talked about before, like with not having one big grand memory or experience. It's a lot of little ones, and I would say everywhere that I've been stationed or deployed, I've left every unit with one really good friend who was really nothing more than a gift, someone who, listened to me complain, gave me a hug when I was crying after a hard day at work. So I don't think I could really say one person in particular, but like I can think in my mind and think, okay, well, when I was at Camp Pendleton, it was Lieutenant Johnson. When I was at the Citadel, it was my friend Kathy. When I was in Afghanistan, it was Chief Warrant Officer Heindel. Like it's just everywhere I've gone, I've always found one really good person that has just been a solid foundation.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Okay, so you're done with the 5 questions. You don't have to be nervous anymore, right? You're done with the 5 questions. What advice would you give to these current Lancers in high school about their future?
Be yourself, and whoever yourself is good enough, no matter what anyone says. If there's something challenging that you want to do, if you work hard enough, you can achieve it. And who you are right now, this second, this day, is good enough. And that doesn't mean that we don't have more work to do as people to grow, but your authentic self is just who you were meant to be.
Fantastic. How about advice for kids that might be thinking about joining the military or who have never thought about that?
When I was in high school, I did not even know what the military was. I remember watching Forrest Gump with my dad and seeing Forrest at boot camp and thinking to myself that looked like the hardest thing anybody would ever do. And just so you know, like at boot camp, you're not like scrubbing the floor with a toothbrush. But the military really is a great option if if maybe paying for college is something you're concerned about, or you don't know what you want to do right away. If you're looking at enlisting, a typical enlistment is 4 years, and 22 might seem old, but it's not. So if you enlisted for 4 years and got out of the Marine Corps or the military in general, you would leave that service with a full ride to college and a housing allowance that you would get every single month while you were in school. So I would just really recommend anyone explore the benefits of the military, and it's serving this country. There's nothing like it. I've never, left wing, right wing, everybody's thankful for the military. And I constantly feel so appreciated. And it is an honor to serve this country.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. All right. So the best teammate I ever coached, Lyndsey West. We're going to finish the same way we finished every class on Friday. If you remember from being in my class, we had a statement. So this is a quiz for you. Let's see if you pass. All right. We finish it like this. Stand up for what you believe in.
Even if you're standing alone.
Nice. Well done. All right. Thank you. Remember, Lancers, there will come a time when you will be older than what you are right now. Be your authentic self, and remember that like time will go by and you're going to be an adult. So what are you going to do with the cards that you've been dealt?